colleagues, my name is Honorable Kpam Sokpo. I represent the people of Buruku Federal Constituency, and I'm from Benue State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that a bill for an act to provide for the procedure and ceremony for transition and assumption of the office of the President and Vice President by the President-elects and Vice President-elects, and to facilitate the handover process by the outgoing President and Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and for related matters, be read a second time. Dear colleagues, I seek your support to allow the above bill, titled Transition and Assumption of Office Bill 2020, pass its second reading. The bill seeks to provide a framework and procedure for the transition and assumption of the office of the President and Vice President by the President-elect and Vice President-elect, and to facilitate the smooth and peaceful handover process by the outgoing President and Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. To achieve such purposes, Mr. Speaker, the bill in Section 1 establishes the Transition and Assumption of Office Committee, consisting of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation as the chairman, with other members including the Attorney General of the Federation, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Information, the Chief of Defense Staff, the National Security Advisor, the IG of Police, the Chief of Staff to the President, the Deputy Clerk to the National Assembly, the Chief Registrar of the Supreme Court, 6 persons nominated by the President-elect representing the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, and the coordinator appointed under Section 7, subsection 2 of this bill. The committee shall facilitate the handover process by the outgoing President and Vice President to the President-elect and Vice President-elect, organize and ensure...
Honorable members, less noise, please.
Ensure the provision of security for the President-elects and Vice President-elects, organize for the necessary facilities and personnel for the President-elect and Vice President-elect, coordinate the briefings of the President-elect and Vice President-elect by the relevant public officers, facilitate communication and information between the outgoing President and Vice President and the President-elect and Vice President-elect. To ensure effective and functional administration of the committee, the bill in Section 7 provides for the establishment of the Transition and Assumption of Office Fund, in which the National Assembly shall appropriate such sums for the purpose of transition and assumption of office in the presidential election year. Part 2 of the bill deals with assumption of office of the President and Vice President-elect upon declaration of the final results of a presidential election by the Independent National Electoral Commission, and ensures the provision of security and security briefings, provision of required information by public officers, and so forth. Part 3 provides for the procedure for the swearing-in, provision of security...
Aminu Mani, Honorable, find your seat and get seated.
...ceremony, taking of oath and signing of inauguration certificates, handover notes, handover of the instruments of power and authority, and the inauguration speech. The bill also makes provision in line with Section 4, subsection 6, and subsection 7 of the Constitution on the power of a state of assembly to make laws for transition and assumption of office of the governors-elect and deputy governors-elect. The bill in Section 19 on appointment of ministers and constitution of boards of federal institutions and parastatals, in line with Sections 147 and 302 of the Constitution, mandates the President make such appointments within a specified time frame to ensure effective and seamless takeoff of government. Part 4 of the bill, dealing with certain miscellaneous and important issues, provides for the transition and succession, reports of the committee, publication of information and records, powers of the committee to make regulations, inventory of assets, vacation of official residence, offenses, and penalties. It is on this note, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, that I urge all of you to support the second reading and passage of this very important bill into law towards building stronger institutions and thereby further entrenching and deepening our democracy. I thank you all.
Against any, the ayes have it. Bill referred to Committee on Special Duties.
Honorable members, a bill for an act to provide for the procedure and ceremony for transition and assumption of the office of the President and Vice President by the President-elect and Vice President-elect, and to facilitate the handover process by the outgoing President and Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and for related matters. Second reading.